All right, let's move on to Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 with the dumbest tagline of all frickin' time. He puts the teeth in terror. Does anybody understand that? I've always tried to figure out, like, there's no teeth in terror. I'm confused on that one. Anybody? Anyway, so this has the R-rated version and the unrated version. Of course, I went for the unrated version, and this movie got like an X rating on release, and the whole marketing campaign behind this, and them talking about buying it once they bought the rights from it from Canon and all that, they were like, we're gonna bring back hardcore horror. And I watched the unrated version, of course, and I don't understand. I don't get it. What is so gruesome about this movie that it deserved an X rating? Even with the, like, I'm watching the X-rated version. What? They, like, every bit of gore, kill, anything is done off screen. We see almost no graphic gore in this film. I don't get it. A buddy of mine told me, like, don't get excited about the unrated version, which I've seen before, but I don't really remember this movie all that well. But he said that, and I was like, okay, come on, there has to be something. There isn't. I'd have no idea what the fuck these people are talking about. Like, for me, this is like PG-13. Okay, I get it, that's an R-rated film. But I don't understand how this didn't get an R rating. The MPAA at this time must have been a bunch of fucking pansies. Because, I mean, you take films today, some of the Saw movies, those got R ratings. Those are 100 times more graphic than this shit. So I don't understand that one. This film is weak in that area. That doesn't mean quality or not quality. That doesn't mean anything. The first Texas Chainsaw Massacre has no gore at all in it, and it's a masterpiece. So it doesn't have to have it. But an X rating? Unrated the fuck? Where? Where is the violence in this? The gore, should I say. There's violence. Mostly implied, though, to be completely honest. Like, every time they go to do a kill in this movie, like when the little girl comes, she's like, I want to do the kill, and she, like, lets the hammer, like, go into the guy's head. I'm like, all right, here we go, and it, like, gets close to his face, and then it cuts away. And I'm like, I'm watching the unrated version. It shouldn't cut away. That's where it should cut in the R-rated version. In the unrated X-rated version, I should see the fucking thing hit him. Like, Misery is R-rated, and I got to see the sledgehammer take out his ankle and turn his shit completely sideways. Huh? And that was 1990, what? 3, 2, something like that. This is like 91. This is around the same time. I don't get it. I don't understand. Gore for people is so weird. They seem to think certain things are so graphic and then other things aren't, that are much more graphic. Like, how the fuck did Rambo, you know, the first Blood film, get an R rating? That might be the most violent film I've ever fucking seen in the theater. It is insanely graphically violent. That gets an R rating, but this gets an X. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I don't understand the rating boards at all, because this film has like no fucking gore at all. And this is the kind of film that really needs it. It needs it to amp up the fun, because this isn't a very good film. I know there's a lot of people out there that this is like their underdog Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they're like, I love this one, it's become a favorite. There's things about it that I've enjoyed. I'm not gonna sit here and trash the film or anything. But overall, I was like, meh, it was okay. It was fine. The thing that really bummed me out, obviously, is the gore. I was just shocked by how little, if not any, is in this film. So that really kind of kicked it for me. Anyway, let's talk about the movie itself. Let's put the teeth in terror. It's so dumb. So in this version, I'm guessing this just is outright ignoring part 2. I don't see how it could possibly be, taking into account the second film. It just isn't. So I know I talk about continuity a lot on here and this and that. if you're gonna outright ignore the previous installment, to me, like, you're not allowed to call it part 3. Like, call it Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, kind of like, you know, Rambo 3 or something. They took first blood out of it, but that's part 3. I don't know. It just, this isn't part 3 if part 2 is ignored outright. And that's kind of the same thing with The Exorcist 3. Even though The Exorcist 3 is amazing and The Exorcist 2 is terrible, I don't feel like you should be able to call the film, I mean, you can do whatever you want, obviously, but I don't feel like it's right to call this part 3 when it outright ignores the events of part 2. Like, am I fucking crazy on that? This isn't part 3 then, if 2 is ignored. It's part 2, you know, or part 2, version 2. Anyway, so yeah, this one says that Sally died in 1977. So 4 years after the events of the first film, Sally died. In the last film, which takes place 13 years after the first one, it says Sally was in a mental hospital and went into catatonia. So that one says that she's catatonic and never said she died. And this one says that she died in 1977. And in the second one, they say in there that they found no crimes at all, that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on paper never happened. But in this one, it says that in 1981, a guy by the name of W.E. Sawyer was convicted and killed in the gas chamber for the crimes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But the events of the second one take place after 1981. So it doesn't make any sense. So as I said, it's outright ignoring it, which is just frustrating to me. And who the hell is W.E. Sawyer? I don't know who. Sawyer? I don't know what the hell I just said there. Sawyer. Who's W.E. Sawyer? And I don't know if this movie is trying to say that Leatherface kind of is just a, like, something that one of the family members in the Sawyer family, like, once he dons the mask, he becomes Leatherface. Like, is this supposed to be the Leatherface from part 1? I don't know. Like, I think it is, because the director said he was trying to get Gunnar Hansen to reprise his role, so that would say to me that this is supposed to be Leatherface from part 1. But I don't know, the way things were worded and whatnot, I just feel like they were trying to say, like, anyone in the Sawyer family might be able to throw on the mask and become Leatherface, and Leatherface is, like, immortal in that way. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. So this one has Viggo Mortensen, which I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, as pretty much everyone knows by now, so seeing Aragorn in here is interesting, because every one of these from part 2 up have, like, a famous person in them. You have Dennis Hopper, and then this, and the next one you have Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. It was just funny that they got these big name stars before they were big name stars in this series. We also have Ken Foree in this. We get a Caroline Williams cameo. She just steps in front of the camera for like 1 second. I noticed her when I was watching. I was like, that's Stretch. Like, there she is as a reporter. And what she wanted to do in part 2 was make a difference and become a reporter. So I don't know. And she survives the events of part 2. So that was like, was that supposed to be Stretch? And if it was, then how is that possible? So I don't know. That's the only thing that I'm sitting there like, so did 2 happen? Because your opening text narration thing says that it didn't, from what I can tell. And when he's cutting up the mask in the opening, because he cuts off the face of this girl in front of her friend, who ends up running off and being a part of the film later, that skin that they're using looks great. The most realistic skin in the series as of yet for the first 3. And then we get like 50 bodies in this pit, and then I like how it cuts to the news like 2 seconds later and they're exaggerating it, even though 50's a lot. Like, I don't know why 50 isn't enough. and that the news has to be like 60 or 70 bodies. Like, just shows you, like, even 50 bodies isn't enough, and the news has to just go and be like 60, 70. The gas station guy in this, oh no. Oh, that was the closest I've come to sneezing without sneezing. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I didn't. Anyway, the gas station attendant guy in this, he's basically doing a hitchhiker from the first one. A lot of the same things are retained here that he does. So there's little bits of borrowing here and there, and the family in this is even bigger. They got like a bunch of members. There's more family members in the Sawyer family, if that's what they're still called in this one, than there is, victims in this. There was like 6 family members and only like 4 characters. That's pretty rare. I don't know how many more horror movies have more antagonists than protagonists. This has got to be one of the only I've ever seen. And so this guy's peeking on her. Vigo comes in, throws him out of the place. Of course, they're in on it together. Even though the gas station attendant, I think he's kind of like, I don't think he's family. I think he's just like some kind of like a lackey that they keep around to help them out, and he never feels included. And even though he's like helping them and celebrating as Vigo drives off in the truck, and he seems like he's not included, and he's really pissed off about it. And so they decide to take this back road, which is super convenient, even though I don't know why they would take that versus the other one. I mean, they're worried that the guy with the gun is he's going to jump in his car and follow after him, so they take like the special road that he wouldn't go to look down. But then Vigo's character would have to just assume they were going to take his road. It's a stretch, to say the least. And so then Leatherface comes out because something happens to their tire. And so he comes at him. I guess he's just waiting out there in hopes that Vigo will send him someone his way, and they'll just happen to stop. Something happens to the tire, so I'm sure he threw something out on the road. And he attacks him, and she gets in the car, and she smartly backs over him, although she only knocks him back instead of actually just driving and killing him by running over his body. Would have been the smart thing to do, but, these kinds of movies, they never do shit like that. I love how the truck is like covered in human flesh on the front of it. And so they run into Ken Foree, and Ken is this survivalist guy who has a weapon. And let me tell you what, they really take that survivalist title seriously in this film. Ken Foree's character in this movie dies like, I want to say 4 times. I think I counted 4 different times we're to believe he's dead, and he comes back. It's fucking ridiculous. At this point, it gets to a place where it's like a comic book series or something where a character dies, and you're like, they'll be back in like an issue. Like it's not even like, you're not even like, oh my God, like, is he okay? He just dies and he dies and he dies and he dies. Like how the fuck he doesn't die the first time, I don't understand that one. Leatherface comes at him with a fucking chainsaw. Leatherface is this experienced chainsawed killer. He comes at him, and then it cuts away, and then Ken's totally fine. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with him. So I don't understand that at all. How did he get away unscathed? I didn't even see blood on him. Like, what did Leatherface do? I'm baffled in my head. Like, he hit him in the head and like hoped that he would die of freaking like a hematoma from hitting him in that, like internal bleeding or something. I don't understand. How is he alive? How is he unscathed? That makes no sense. Anyway, Leatherface has a leg injury in this one, and I'm guessing that is from when in the first one, when the truck driver throws the pipe wrench, hits him in the head, and he saws his own leg. I mean, that's just a flesh wound up here. I don't feel like that would make him have to wear a leg brace, right? I don't know. But I maybe that's what that's from. I always love how Leatherface in these movies seems to be able to sneak up on people with a chainsaw. You have to rev a chainsaw to turn it on, and then you have to, gun it to actually get it to go. So that would take a good few seconds to do it. He always comes out with it like fully going and chainsaws into them. And in this one, he has a squeaky leg as well, so he couldn't even silently sneak up on them anyway. So it's just like, how is he sneaking up on you? It's not possible. The girl that helps out here gets herself killed like 5 seconds later. The little girl in the woods who sees her friend killed in the beginning. That's Denise from Just One of the Guys. How fucking awesome is that? Oh, man. Love Denise. And also, the little girl in this, the one of the Sawyers, the little blonde girl that carries around like a dead infant with her. It's so fucked up. That's young Tina from Friday the 13th, Part 7. So that's pretty cool. And in this one, Grandpa is actually finally dead. Grandpa is finally dead. I mean, he died in the second one for sure. They hit him with a fucking grenade. But he's finally dead. They keep feeding him. Like, he has blood all over his mouth and it looks fresh. So it's funny. Even when he dies, they still keep him around to feed him. And Leatherface gets himself a custom chainsaw here. The saw is family. It's all like chromed out. His own little decked out freaking chainsaw. I actually didn't mention this. I was going to put it in the opening, but that would take time, and I don't try to get to the next movies here. This film has probably my favorite teaser trailer for a horror film ever. Oh my God, the Excalibur, parody video trailer. You ever seen that? Go to YouTube and type in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 trailer, and you'll see a full-on Excalibur trailer, but Leatherface. Awesome trailer. I adore that trailer. So this has the coolest trailer in the entire series for me. I don't even need to see the rest to know there's nothing that's gonna beat it. Anyway, another horror movie trope, and this happens in action movies and stuff as well, but it happens in horror movies all the time. And in action movies, I should say. It's maybe 50-50. But there's a moment in these movies, it happens in this one, of course, where the killer has somebody pinned on the ground, and they have like the chainsaw raised up, and they've got, all these different like ways that they could kill them. Like, they have like a gun to their head, or a knife to their throat, or whatever. And someone will come out and they'll be like, over here, like I'm the one you want, or like, hey, over. And all it would take would just be to pull the trigger, push the chainsaw down, pull the fucking knife, and kill them 1 second, less than a second. And then they could go chase off after the person. Like, why they run away when they have the person dead to rights? They could just kill them. Like, hey, I'm over here. It's like, oh, thanks for letting me know that you're over there. I'm just going to chainsaw this guy really quick. Okay, now I'm after, now I'm in hot pursuit of you. Like, I just don't understand that. It is so stupid. Have a gun to your head. Oh, there's somebody else. I'll come back for you. Why? Pull the fucking trigger. I don't get it. It's so stupid. It's such dumb writing. You will never see shit like that in one of my fucking scripts, I assure you, but I'll probably never get a movie made, so you guarantee won't ever see it, because it's never gonna fucking happen. Anyway. Another thing that I feel that is weird within the second and the third one, is that Leatherface can clearly talk in the first one. It's like weird, childish speech, but he can talk. I mean, he says, I don't know. I'd love to like try to listen really close, because I feel like you can make out some of the stuff he's saying. And it's just like, why can't he talk in this one? Why can't he talk in the last one? Why can't he speak like he did in the other films? Like, I don't know. He's just silent. I think they kind of fell into that trope of like Jason and Michael and whatever. Like, oh, you know, they're the big lumbering maniacs who don't speak. And I don't know. Like, I like killers that can speak. Like, the whole silent thing for me, it's played out like a motherfucker. Like, I'm okay with them saying a few words. Like, it doesn't have to be overboard. It doesn't have to be all the time. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, coherent. Like, I don't even need to know what they're actually saying, but for him to speak some, like he did in the first one, I like when he speaks in the first one. I think it's eerie. I think it's creepy. I think it adds to it. I don't know. It seems like there's a person in there. When they're silent, it just feels like an entity. It feels like, you know, something vacant, like a demon or something. It doesn't feel human at all to me when they're completely void of any speech at all. That's why I don't mind the, you know, die being yelled by Michael in Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So I think it's kind of cool that he just like randomly said something. Like, if a lot of people blast me for that, I don't give a shit. I think it's cool. And the Leatherface has like this speak and spell kind of thing, and he goes and he sees that it's a clown, and it's like, what is this? And he keeps typing in food, and it's wrong, and he's just pissed, and he's like, I don't understand, it's food, people are food. One of the best lines in this movie, if not the best line in this movie for me, is, you know, Ken is like, why can't you just leave us alone? And, you know, why us or whatever? And Vigo's like, because we're hungry. And Ken's like, haven't you ever heard about pizza? He's like, I like liver. I don't know, the I'm hungry. That kind of goes up there with the strangers, like, because you were home or whatever. Like, I love that line. Like, why us? Why are you doing this? Like, why can't you let us go? Because we're hungry. That's such a fucking perfect answer for this franchise. We're killing you because we want to eat you, because we're hungry. We like meat. We like human meat. And we have a kid begging to kill in this film. I have to believe that had something to do with the rating. I wonder if that's cut out, or, you know, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, that's always all fucked up to see a little kid who's like super excited to kill. The thing that really annoyed me, many things about this annoyed me, but is, so Ken's looking through the window and he sees Leatherface coming at the girl with a chainsaw, and he's like, what the fuck? And every one of the Sawyer family is right there in front of him. He has the mom, the kid, Leatherface, you know, Vigo, the other dude. Like, they're all right there. And he's a survivalist. He's someone who does this. Like, he you know, he has a fucking machine gun on him. Like, he's trained with this thing. And what does he do? With a girl sitting right there in the center of the room, he just steps back and randomly starts blasting into the place. Like, he so easily, with a gun like that, he so easily could have been like, bam, 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 like, take out 3, 4 of them before anyone could even drop or know what was going on. Could have took out, and you don't take out the mom. Like, that's the one person you kill. You make sure you aim at fucking the biggest psychopath first. So you hit Leatherface first. That's the first person you shoot right in the head. Then you go for Vigo, and then you go for the other guy. Like, the kid and the mom. Who does he hit? He hits the crippled woman in the chair and dead grandpa. Really? Those are the fucking 2 people you shoot? So stupid. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's such bad writing. It pisses me off. And then his gun clearly runs out of ammo. You can hear it. It like clicks. He's out of ammo. Then Leatherface, or no, Vigo, who? Yeah, Leatherface jumps in the truck and drives at him, and Ken stands in front of him with the gun, stands right in front of the truck like a dumb fuck, and aims for him. And then Leatherface gets really close to him, and he pulls the trigger, and he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck? You knew there was no fucking ammo in the gun. You're trained. You know weapons. You're fucking driving me crazy. And he gets hit by the truck, and he goes under the truck, and he's fine. He gets fucking chainsawed, he's fine. He gets chainsawed in the back of the head, he's fine. He gets hit by a mallet, he's fine. This motherfucker is a survivalist, but he's also an idiot. He does so many stupid things and lives, okay? tons of people do smart things in horror and die. This guy does dumb thing after dumb thing after dumb thing. And he lives. Bullshit. All right. I got angry. Now I don't know where the hell I'm at. I think that might be it. Oh, I like when, you know, they're fighting and the chainsaw's like flipping around in the water, which is bullshit. That would never happen. But it's spinning around in the water, and, you know, Leatherface kills Ken, and then he comes back at the girl, and she just takes a rock and she just smashes him in the face with it like 20 times in a row. There's no human being that could take that abuse to the fucking head. She said, I swear, I'd have to put on subtitles. I don't know this to be a saying predating this film, but she was like, sorry, not sorry. Like, I see that all over now. First time I heard that was maybe 10 years ago. Maybe like 5 years ago. I haven't heard that much in my life, but I swear she says sorry, not sorry here, right? That was pretty funny. But yeah, she's just smashing his fucking face, and then they get in the truck, or like she runs away, and Ken pulls up, a guy attacks her, shoots him with the shotgun. That would have been like a perfect moment to actually have some real gore in this, and blow the guy's fucking head off, like Maniac style. But no, just shoot him in the chest and he falls backwards and we see a little blood. Oh, better get that next rating. Pussy fucks. And then Ken and her just drive off together. And Leatherface, of course, is alive. And he comes up and he revs his chainsaw. They always got to do that. They've always got to do that. Like, he's still out there. I don't know why that shit annoys me so much. Like, it's not always bad, but it's just like, you don't have to do it in every fucking movie. We don't need that final scare. It's so... Anyway. There's some things I said I liked in here, so I didn't outright hate the movie or anything. I just thought it was okay, but there's so many dumb things, and the lack of gore, and lack of characters that I really even like all that much, except for, I like Ken Foree's character in this. He makes so many dumb decisions. And I think, like, honestly, a lot of the reason I like him is because of who he is. Like, I like his character because I like Ken Foree from Dawn of the Dead. Like, you know, I like the actor. So I know there's a lot of, you know, subscribers I have that are big fans of this movie, so I apologize. Not really. Sorry, not sorry.